The 2022 World Cup final will go down as one of the most exciting, dramatic and memorable matches in the history of the game. It was the scene of Lionel Messi's greatest moment on a soccer pitch, in which he cemented his legacy as the best player of his generation after finally guiding Argentina to World Cup glory. It was, for many, the perfect, fairy tale ending to a tournament which thrilled well over 1 billion fans around the world. So good, perhaps, that many forgot it bookend the most controversial World Cup in history. Rewind to the start of the tournament and the talk was all about matters off the field, from workers' rights to the treatment of the LGBTQ+ community. Just hours before the opening match, FIFA President Gianni Infantino launched into a near-hour-long tirade to hundreds of journalists at a press conference in Doha, where he accused Western critics of hypocrisy and racism. Reform and change takes time. It took hundreds of years in our countries in Europe. It takes time everywhere. The only way to get results is by engaging, not by shouting, said Infantino. At one point, the FIFA president challenged the room of journalists, stressing FIFA will protect the legacy for migrant workers that it set out with the Qatar authorities. I'll be back, we'll be here to check, don't worry, because you will be gone, he said. So, a year on from the World Cup final, what is the legacy of the 2022 World Cup? Human cost of hosting the World Cup. Human rights groups were unequivocal in their condemnation regarding Qatar hosting the World Cup. In a 2021 report, Amnesty International said that Qatari authorities had not investigated thousands of deaths of migrant workers over the past decade despite evidence of links between premature deaths and unsafe working conditions. 2022-1116 World Cup Human Rights. Our dreams never came true. These men helped build Qatar's World Cup, now they are struggling to survive. The same year, The Guardian reported that 6,500 South Asian migrant workers died in Qatar since the country was awarded the World Cup in 2010. The report did not connect all 6,500 deaths with World Cup infrastructure projects and was not independently verified by CNN. Hassan al-Fawadi, the man in charge of leading Qatar's preparations, told CNN's Becky Anderson that the Guardian's 6,500 death figure was a sensational headline that was misleading and that the report lacked context. Al-Fawadi later told Piers Morgan that between 400 and 500 migrant workers died as a result of work done on any project connected to the tournament, a greater figure than Qatari officials had initially cited. He clarified that 3 work-related deaths were linked specifically to the construction of World Cup stadiums, as were 37 non-work-related deaths. In truth, no one really knows the human cost of hosting the World Cup in a country which had to build much of its infrastructure from scratch, relying heavily on migrants working during the scorching summer heat. The stadiums used for the tournament were undeniably impressive. Some are now used for cultural and sporting events, while others are left vacant for periods of time. Amid it all, Qatar promised reform for workers, but did that ever materialize?